thing that the Xenoverse series does well is providing a solid character roster. Now, we do know that in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1, they offered about 60 characters for us to choose from. Then when Xenoverse 2 came around, they took the complete roster from Xenoverse 1 and added that into Xenoverse 2 and expanded upon that by adding more characters into the base roster, such as Android 16, Hit, and even Goku Black, and from there added more characters by DLC. But what roster would Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 have? Because we do know that if Xenoverse 3 were to come to fruition, they would take the complete roster of Xenoverse 2 and expand from that. But what characters should they choose from? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, just note that these thoughts are of my own personal opinion, so you don't have to agree with me if you don't want to. But with that being said, let's get right into it. First things first, I do just want to note that characters such as Super Baby 2, my own personal favorite pick, Pikkon, etc., are not going to be on this list. Not because I don't want them in the game, but at this point, if they weren't included in the Xenoverse series, then something is seriously wrong. So again, I want them in the game, but they're kind of too easy to add onto a character list. So that's the reason why I'm not going to include them in this list in particular. With that said, the first type of characters I would love to see in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 are what-if characters, because surprisingly, the Xenoverse series is not new to adding what-if characters into the game. Particularly in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, we actually did get a what-if character in the form of Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3 Bardock, because those forms of Bardock originated in Dragon Ball Heroes when he was under the control of the Time Breakers and was going under the name the Masked Saiyan. But yeah, I would love to see more what-if characters in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. Characters such as Tiencha, Super Buu Frieza Absorbed, Super Buu Cell Absorbed, Super Saiyan 3 Broly, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, and even Golden Cooler, who was recently announced to be in Super Dragon Ball Heroes Universe Mission 2. But yeah, more what-if characters would be great because they're unique characters that we don't get to see in Dragon Ball games very often. So having them in Xenoverse 2 as playable characters would be a breath of fresh air for the game. Next up, I would love to see exclusive characters get into Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. And by exclusive, I mean characters that pertain to a particular Dragon Ball game. So for example, Raging Blast 2 had Tarble and Hatchiyak as their exclusive characters. Stuff like that. So that includes Android 21, who's exclusive to Dragon Ball Fighters, or even Tekka and Penich that are exclusive to Dragon Ball Fusions, Beat and Note that are exclusive to Dragon Ball Heroes, and even Shallot, who's exclusive to Dragon Ball Legends. So having exclusive characters would be an awesome thing to add into Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 because of the fact that since they're exclusive, you won't ever be able to play as those characters unless you played their respective games. So if they were to bring them into this current console generation in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, that would be extremely cool. And finally, the last type of characters I would love to see in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 are none other than special characters. And there are actually two in particular that I have in mind, with the first one being Super Saiyan God Vegeta from the Dragon Ball Super manga, because unfortunately he was not in the Dragon Ball Super anime. Not only that, they actually took one of Vegeta's techniques and gave it to Super Saiyan Blue Goku in the anime. So that's extremely unfortunate, and I think having him in Xenoverse 3 would finally be that moment to really put him in the spotlight. And the next character is Luffy from One Piece. Now, hear me out. I know a lot of you guys may be lost, but if they were to add him into Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, this would actually not be the first time that happened, because it did happen on the 3DS with Dragon Ball Z Extreme Butoden and One Piece Great Pirate Coliseum that were actually cross-compatible. And before that, it actually happened in Dragon Ball Heroes God Mission 9, where you were actually able to fight against Luffy, and then afterwards you're able to team up with Luffy and fight against Guild. So it would be kind of cool to have that type of cross promotion in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 as that one super special character in the game, along with having Super Saiyan God Vegeta being the special character from the Dragon Ball Super manga. But that's my list of characters I would love to see in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. And of course, I do just want to cover my bases right now. Yes, I would love to see Super Baby 2, Pikkon, Dragon Ball characters, more Dragon Ball Z characters, even more GT characters if possible, and more Dragon Ball Super characters. I would love to see them all, but I wanted to make this a different type of character roster list than just a generic list that anybody else can predict, because not a lot of people know about some of the characters that I've listed, and I would love for them to actually be able to play as those characters because they're honestly really freaking cool. But again, that is my own roster, and you guys don't have to agree with me, and that's where the discussion sparks in the comment section below. What characters would you like to see in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3? Let me know. Again, this is a community effort, and I make these discussions so that we can get the community talking about it. But with that being said, I'm Ndukauba, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.